see how the deep state would want Trump killed in a public way, because the message was, don't ever mess with us. Don't, if you do stuff, if you decide to challenge us at any level, we'll not only bankrupt you and indict you, we'll flat out murder you. I mean, that's what they did to President John Kennedy, Robert Francis Kennedy Sr., Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. All of those assassinations had at some level government complicity and conspiracy.
That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. That is so crazy. Welcome back to Monarch Smart TV, everyone. And if this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for your boy and turn them notification bell and put them on all so you do not miss a content. Why? We got the facts, we got the truth, we got the bangers. We bring the stuff to you that nobody else want to show you. So if you're ready, strap on your seatbelt and get your popcorn, get your chips, get your drink, and get your spliff. Get whatever you need to get comfy, relax, put your legs up, and check out these bangers.
I'm here with my good buddy Robert Barnes, who has been following the Trump assassination attempt very, very closely. And it's always great to get your insights, Robert. So thanks for coming on, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Glad to be here.
I'll just hand it to you. You can take the ball and run with it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the timing was interesting because I was also at the Republican National Convention this week.
Yeah.
I mean, there were people at that convention who I think would not have been there but for their belief that something was going to happen to Trump before he got there.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? You hear that, you hear that, you hear that. So my man actually saying it's certain people at that rally that never usually show up at Trump rally. And not only that, I noticed that CNN, they was doing that rally live. Usually CNN, they stopped showing up at Trump rally, but they decided to show up at this one. They knew something was about to go down.
That Mitch McConnell and some other folks were there. I mean, Mike Pompeo, former head of the CIA, former State Department director, was telling delegates of Iowa, that were coming in to the event that he was going to be the vice presidential nominee.
What?
He was never on Trump's list, but he would have been on other people's list. I think the plan was to assassinate him right before the convention, blame it on Iran, use that as a rallying cry to go to war with Iran, and for the Republican Party to nominate Nikki Haley as president and Mike Pompeo as vice president.
What?
The two biggest sort of neocon deep state allies.
You hear that, my people? You hear. Get comfy. All the facts and truth is coming out. So this is on both sides. All the Republicans that didn't like Trump, they was down with this as well. And all the Democrats, they was all down. Yo, it's a inside job. And I noticed, even when they was raiding Trump house, I noticed CNN was there. They know everything that's the Democrat is planning.
That were ever part of the Trump administration in the name of defending the life and legacy of Trump. The nominating someone who is anti-Trump fundamentally, but would help promote the war. It would give Joe Biden an excuse for people to stop talking about how old he is and go. And I think they wanted to go to war with Iran. They thought Iran would step into Israel after October 7th. Iran didn't take the bait. And I think they needed something to accelerate that. They also know they're going to lose in Ukraine, so they need a new war to draw attention, and they need something to feed the military-industrial complex, all those weapons contracts and the like. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the timing was right before the convention. In addition, I think they had got word that Trump was not going to pick the vice president that they wanted him to pick, that the sort of deep state crowd wanted Trump to pick someone that would provide insurance for the deep state, that they could take Trump out at any time and know that the vice president was their ally. And that's who Tim Scott is. That's who Marco Rubio is. That's who Doug Burgum is. And Trump let them think that he might pick them, but it had been clear for about 3 weeks.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, I don't even know some of these stuff. I know all these people that he's talking about, but I thought they was down with the program. But for real, these real politicians, you feel me? These are real politicians. So even them know what was going on.
That J.D. Vance was in the lead. J.D. Vance is much more populist. He was anti the Ukraine war. He fought with the Marines in Iraq and felt he got lied to. I remember talking to him for about an hour and a half before he made the decision to come out against the Ukraine war back in March of 2022. And so I saw Karl Rove, whose hands were shaking with rage when he got the news.
Yo, and it's crazy, yo. It's crazy. Now that my man, they keep everywhere I go, I keep hearing that the Democrats, they always want war. That's the only way. I don't know what that do for them. That's the only way they feel like they in power. Why is that? And if you notice, people, y'all could do your own research. Every time Democrat is in power, war is always happening. Terrorists rise and start war all over. Russia always start war with other country. Every time the Democrats is in power, if you could go take it back to Clinton days, the Taliban was rising. Then after that, you could take it to Obama days, ISIS rise. Now Biden days, Hamas rise. It's always war when the Democrats is in power, ladies and they the devil, yo.
News that J.D. Vance was going to be the pick. So I think the goal on both sides of the deep state, the Republican and Democratic side, was to take Trump out before he could be officially the nominee, before J.D. Vance could be his official successor and vice.
Okay, so they was trying to kill Trump before the RNC thing that just happened the other day, convention, because that's when Trump gonna accept the nominee of being the president, and the vice president gonna accept the nominee of being the vice president. So they wanted to kill Trump before that happened. Okay, that's crazy, my people.
Presidential pick, and there's plenty of evidence that we have that either you have. One of the key things I always talk about in looking at whether something is a false flag. So, like, sometimes people misunderstand false flag to mean an event did not occur. A false flag is literally the old pirates would, post a false flag to be able to get real close to the ship they were going to raid, wait till they get right next to the ship, and then they bring up the old Jolly Roger. And it's surprise, surprise, we're not the British or the French or the Spanish or whoever you thought we were. So the culprit is not always correctly identified. And that doesn't always require that the culprit they blame not also be a culprit. It just means the narrative of the lone assassin, because America's unique in this respect. We're the only country that always seems to only have a lone assassin.
I know, right?
Look at all the other people that get shot around the world, or as some attempted assassination. More often than not, there's some sort of conspiracy afoot, according to the official narrative. But the United States, it's always just some lone nut job that tried to do something.
Yeah, yo, that's facts, yo. Every time something happened in America, when assassination happened, they always said it's just some lone crazy person, nuthead, trying to do, attempted something. It's never yet. He's getting ordered from nowhere. Nobody else never involved. Yo, it's crazy, yo. Yo, this deep state is bigger than we really think, yo. Y'all better learn. Y'all better think. Y'all better do your research. It's time to get smart, ladies and gentlemen.
So that they don't have to have meaningful complicity and culpability. But the way in which it happened, the evidence that's already developing, Chris Martinson's doing some great audio analysis work on this as we speak, strongly suggests that there were multiple shooters, that the key shots didn't come from the supposed assassin.
You hear that?
At a minimum, you have massive security lapses. I would say that's a sign of a red flag of a staged event. A red flag of a false flag.
Facts.
Is unusual and unexpected security lapses.
Yes, sir.
That suggests somebody on the inside is making sure certain events can occur.
Yes, sir.
But it looks to me that there were probably multiple shooters.
Facts.
And they thought, and in fact, the shots were excellent shots from a sniper's perspective. But Trump just happened to turn his head at exactly the right time. I
God.
mean, within a millisecond.
The works of
If
God.
he turns his head in any other different direction, he's dead.
Facts.
And but when he stood up and said, fight, 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 I think that was Trump's way of signaling to everybody he knew who and what was behind the assassination.
Okay.
And since then, he's talking to Robert Kennedy about incorporating Kennedy's vaccine policy, and that gets conveniently leaked to the public. He's talking to Robert Kennedy about what happened and how Joe Biden had some unusual questions afterwards. Like, why did you turn your head, Don? Almost like someone complaining about why isn't he dead?
Yo, that's crazy. That is crazy, yo. That's what Joe Biden said. Why did he turn his head? Yo, a lot of people been saying that, though. I know they all want it. Yo, it's crazy. These people are evil. That means they don't even believe in no type of God whatsoever. They willing to do anything in their power to stay in power.
He picks J.D. Vance. He accelerates his nomination to Monday afternoon rather than Thursday afternoon. So I think Trump, and I've talked to Don Jr. and some other people, I think they understand who it is that wants Trump out of the way. And I think their failure to get him is going to backfire on them in public policy in a whole bunch of ways.
You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? So you hear that? Trump already know who's trying to kill him. The family already know. Trump is not stupid. You feel me? They already know what's going on. That's crazy. That's crazy and insane. The things that these people willing to do. That means they not for us, ladies and gentlemen. They not willing to accept the people we vote for. They willing to do anything in their power to stay on top and control us. That's not good at all.
But I have zero doubts that it was at some level an inside job. Absolutely. And because they had to have an extraordinary sequence of events occur for incompetence to be the explanation. And for example, Trump has a usual Secret Service team. Many members of that usual Secret Service team were given that day off.
What?
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, I'm
Yo, you hear that, ladies and gentlemen?
not.
You hear that? You hear that? You hear that? The Secret Service team that usually follow Trump, that Trump trusted, they given that day off. You see, yo, Trump already know what's going on. It's crazy how everything that they put in place to get rid of Trump. They put everything in place to get rid of Trump. And God said, no, we're not going to have that.
Wow.
The second part is the local region had some high quality Secret Service agents they could sub in, but they were reassigned to Jill Biden, who decided to have a fundraiser the same day in the same region.
Yo, that is crazy, yo. It was all planned and orchestra. You hear that? They give Trump, Maine, Secret Service, all of them the day off, and all the other top replacement that could have fill in. Joe Biden and them make sure they have an event that same day and took those. So what about the ones that protect them? They were still protecting them, but they took the rest of them. And who did they send to protect Trump? Some nobodies?
That Trump was having his event and his rally. You have the third aspect is that they had actually staked out that precise location. They knew that location was even an amateur could get off a high quality shot from that location. There had been snipers from the Secret Service on top of that particular roof. And then they ended up, for reasons they're yet to explain, decided not to secure the roof.
Because the roof was too steep. Robert, didn't hear her say that? It's too steep of a roof.
It's
we don't want
joke.
It's too dangerous.
It's a joke.
Well, it's when you're getting implausible explanations like that.
Yeah.
It's like all the implausibilities keep adding up. Implausible that this happened to be the time that they laid somebody off, or didn't have somebody as part of the team. Happen to be the time where Joe Biden had an event that distracted a bunch of Secret Service agents and took them off the duty call as well. Happened to be the time when they decide not to secure a building that's uniquely high risk, when they were actually on top of the building staging what that would look like the day before. And then coming up with the excuse of the sloped roof that everybody knows is not plausible, because
when they had the sniper on, the counter sniper was on a sloped roof.
Exactly. But what?
Yo, it's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Every type of excuse and idea, it was all planned. This was all planned to get rid of Trump, so he wouldn't have that RNC convention, so he could accept the nominee. Yo, this was crazy, my people. The deep state do not F around. They was definitely trying to assassinate him.
White House has sloped roofs. And they're there every day.
That's right.
And then you step in further, and it's now come out that they identified the person they're claiming is the sniper 3 hours before that he was on, because he's walking around with a rangefinder, right? I mean, this was not some genius assassin. This is a guy walking around. I wonder if this shot from here would work. I wonder if a shot from here would work.
That's
almost,
crazy.
by the way, like the profile of a patsy, right? And
that's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. And everybody's seen him. People that was there at the Trump rally seen him walking around with that thing, like a telescope, looking through it to see if right here would have been a perfect shot type ish. Yo, that was crazy. And they saw him climbing up the ladder, saw him crawling on the roof. Tell security, and they ignore all of that.
In other words, he was so over the top in everybody seeing what he was doing, so much so that randos were screaming, "This guy's on the roof with a gun," minutes before he even fired a shot.
I think he was like a distraction. I think he wanted to be seen. He wanted to be seen like he was the only one. He's the one that's about to do it, while other shooters were setting up. That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. They got video of him crawling across the darn roof.
Yeah.
Exactly. They got video of him right outside the building acting weird.
Facts.
They got with the rangefinder. So we know that he was on Secret Service's radar screen. He's acting so over the top in being a parent. And supposedly was playing a game that's about, can Secret Service adequately protect the president?
What?
And the president's a Trump president.
What?
And he made comments on those games days before the event about how he was going to really win the game in a surprising way.
What? You hear that? Where all this information come from? Folks, you hear he was playing a game, some type of Trump game, saying if the Secret Service could protect Trump, and he was playing this game a couple days before, and he said he was going to win that game in a major way, not knowing he talking about real life major way. That's insane.
So he's behaving like someone who's almost meant to be a patsy, more so than an actual guy. In fact, the actual assassin. He had tried to join. You got a 20-year-old kid with no professional experience who tried to join his low-level high school shooting team and failed because he literally couldn't hit the right side of a barn. And he's the one who is supposedly snuck past Secret Service, snuck by the local police, snuck past everybody observing, and got off 5 or 6 shots right on the president.
In the primo location, too.
That's fishy. That's fishy.
Completely. Just 100 yards or so away.
Yeah, that's fishy.
Then you have, so we know that he was on everybody's attention now, and they did nothing about it. That they also, inside that building, there were Secret Service agents.
Right.
Yes, sir.
It's one of the, why weren't they doing anything when they were notified? Because we now know that local police notified them 10 minutes before.
Facts.
Saying there's a guy with a gun on the roof, a guy with a gun on the roof. They all got that notice. Nobody's doing anything. And here it's like, it's one thing to say, well,
that's
crazy.
Maybe
they're worried about pulling the trigger because maybe there was some other explanation. I don't buy that. If you know Secret Service protocol, it's not likely. But the thing they can't explain is, why was Trump sent up on the stage after they were alerted there's a man with a gun on the roof 100 yards away?
Facts, yo. If there's a shooter with a gun, why they send Trump on stage? This make no sense. This how you know it was planned for them to kill Trump. They wanted Trump dead. They know what it was, a shooter walking around with a rifle. They know it's a shooter on the roof crawling. Police even tried to go up there and he pointed at the police. Police got to run. Police radio that call to Secret Service and they did nothing, ladies and gentlemen. This was all planned. And you know who controlled the secret? The president, Joe Biden and them. Them the one that gave Trump's Secret Service the day off so he would not have no proper protection that day. Then the reserve, them, the good reserve that could have filled in, they make sure they kept a event that same day and used those people as well, so Trump will have no security. You seen the people them that was protecting Trump? Some short females, a couple of dudes and some short midget females. Trump is a 6-something dude. Yo, this is crazy and insane.
Why didn't they take him down immediately?
Correct. Well, I mean, they even set him up after they got that notice.
Yeah,
they get the notice and like, hey, Don, time to go up on the stage.
You hear that? They got the notice from the police telling them it's a shooter over here, and they like, okay, Trump, time to go on stage. They know what time it was.
The probability of incompetence as the most likely explanation, just when you go through step by step by step by step, diminishes at each step. And then we have now Chris Martinson's doing the sound alert and what people at the scene said. They said they heard shots from multiple locations. Now, sometimes that can be tricky because you get echoes and all the rest. But Chris Martinson has been breaking, and some other sound experts have been breaking down the sound. And they're saying there's multiple shooters. There's at least 2, maybe 3. There might have been one on the water tower, and there might have been someone in that building that the reason why they weren't taking out the supposed assassin, is someone might have been shooting from that building.
You hear that? So my man saying it's probably 3 shooters, because I keep hearing people saying it was a shooter on top of the water tower. You feel me? And we don't hear them talking about that. All they talking about is the kid that they killed, and he probably was a distraction. We don't even know if the bullet that hit Trump come from him. That is crazy, ladies and gentlemen.
So it would have been difficult to know what was going on, and in terms of how many shots and who was shooting from it. You've got, as Trump said last night, he said there were bullets still blazing everywhere, going over people. That's more like 8, 12 shots than just the 2 or 3. That guy should have had the time to get off at all.
Facts.
Under their own timeline. And so you look at also, then they look at the trajectory of the shots.
Okay, so this is exactly what I was going to touch on. Is that a real photo? And for the people that might not have seen it, it's the one where you see the bullet like past Trump, and you can see kind of like the,
yes sir,
what is it, the stream that through the air, through the bullet piercing the air, like almost like a jet. And if that was real.
Yes sir, we seen that, right, my people? I posted that. I posted that on one of my thumbnails. I showed y'all the bullet that was passing Trump air. They capture that somehow on the live and slow it down, and we see the bullet with the wind. It's like a rocket. It was crazy.
Initial people looking at it without getting in that, they don't yet have the full expert analysis, was that trajectory couldn't have come from that roof.
Yeah, it looks.
You hear that? You hear that? They saying that the shot that hit Trump, it ain't come from that sniper. It's somebody else where it came. They gonna break it down. They gonna get to the bottom of it. The only problem is most of the people that's behind it, that's breaking it down, is down with killing Trump. So they not trying to get to the bottom of it. Trump and his own people got to do their own research.
Flat.
Yes, exactly.
That's based on the photo I saw.
That's correct. Now, that itself is interesting. So, why did CNN, of all rallies, when they've been skipping Trump rallies routinely, why were they covering it live?
That's what I
And
said.
why did that reporter, the photographer, my understanding is that photo was taken by a New York Times photographer
Okay.
who had his camera speed at like 800, whatever it was, which is very rare and very unusual.
Okay.
He, by the way, apparently is the same photographer who captured the person whispering into George W. Bush's ear about the towers being attacked on 9/11.
What? Yo, that's crazy. So from back then to now, so he knew something as well. So he always show up just like CNN when stuff about to happen. Every time stuff about to happen, CNN and these people, they knows and already there taking pictures, taking videos and stuff of that nature. It was all planned.
So this guy has a magical way of showing up in interesting times.
That's what I'm saying.
Are curious whether somebody was tipped off that something big might happen today. You should be here, without necessarily tipping everything off. So, and that you could see how the deep state would want Trump killed in a public way, because the message was, don't ever mess with us. If you do stuff, if you decide to challenge us at any level, we'll not only bankrupt you and indict you, we'll flat out murder you. I mean, that's what they did to President John Kennedy, Robert Francis Kennedy Sr., Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. All of those assassinations had at some level government complicity and conspiracy.
Facts.
The only question, or to me, and that's lasting in the debate, is what's the scale and scope of it. I think the same is true of what happened to Trump, and I think Trump knows it, by the way. And
Facts.
I think that's why you've seen a different tone from him of late. Like last night, his speech, kind of thankful to be alive. But I think the other aspect is you're going to see him be much more aggressive at dealing with some of these things than he would have otherwise been. I think that reach out to Robert Kennedy was supposed to signal that. The inclusion of J.D. Vance as VP was intended to signal that.
Yes, sir.
And that he knows the deep state tried and the deep state missed.
Yes, sir.
And that in ways that it's almost like the bankruptcy cases, the cases trying to make him bankrupt, the cases trying to put him in prison, didn't really shake him up very much, because he thought, these are crap political cases, they'll get overturned at some higher level. But the attempt to assassinate him did wake him up. And he saw it in live time. He's like, we need to do some radical change in America.
Yes, sir.
And that now he's much more committed to it than he otherwise would have been, because he understands what they tried to do and how they just literally came within a quarter inch of getting their desired result.
Not even.
Yo, that is crazy, my people. Yo. Make sure y'all share this out, my people. Make sure y'all liking the video. Do everything y'all got to do so this video could reach as much people as possible. This is crazy. I'm giving y'all the inside scoop of everything that's going on. You already know. This was all orchestra. This was all planned.
Yeah,
he knows he's done. Like, what's in it for him?
So there's already inconsistent stories about the kid. We'll start with sort of the profile of a patsy, and that I always say every great crime needs a great patsy, particularly a political crime.
Facts.
You need a convenient narrative script.
Yes,
designed.
sir. Yes, sir.
You need somebody that the event can be blamed on that won't implicate powerful actors, institutional actors, governmental actors,
and the real shooters.
And preferably they die, so they can never talk. Lee Harvey Oswald famously shot before he could ever meaningfully talk. The Vegas shooter, we will never know whether it was even him, because he got shot before he could ever talk. And you have many, and in America, there's been this profile pattern of trying to blame a single crazy assassin for an event, or in some cases, maybe two or three. But it's always some couple of crazy people are involved, whether it's Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Robert Kennedy, Saran. He's a crazy guy. Went and somehow snuck into his security and shot and killed him. They're usually they usually have mental illness issues of some sort.
Legitimate.
Yeah, legitimate mental health issues.
Okay.
And there's already information. This kid's parents apparently were both mental health counselors, which is a little weird. Exactly. And that's usually the profile of your mass school shooters and the like.
Right.
And now, take a guess what they are going to blame on him in a certain way. Like, if you're the deep state, what's sort of an enemy, institutional enemy, if you will? Guess what accounts?
Gun control or something?
Crypto. That he has crypto accounts. So that somehow crypto is part of the reason for the assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
What
Is this the narrative that's coming out? I haven't heard of this.
Yes,
Yeah.
the only thing they've found so far, they couldn't get through his secure communications on his phone, couldn't get even into aspects of his phone or
But you know, Nat, how can you not? Are you kidding me? How can the Secret Service, the CIA, the NSA, I don't know who the hell's in charge of that, but how can you not? And again, the kid's 20 years old. It's not like he's Jason Bourne, for heaven's sakes. How do you not get into his phone?
Exactly, and the kid has such little footprint, but according to the new report, he had 3 secured crypto accounts.
So how they know that
around the world? And so, I mean, the goal is this is what happens when people use crypto; they become assassins.
This is weird. How you know he got 3 crypto account, but you cannot get inside of his phone? So how you figure that out? And saying the kid have no type of social media activity, but you know about the 3 crypto account? That's weird. You just trying to say like he getting the money from overseas from somebody else, not y'all. That's what y'all putting that out there for.
The 1 minute Bitcoin, the next minute they want to kill the president. It's that kind of logic. I figured they would try to demonize crypto somehow, and maybe that was supposed to be the link to Iran somehow. That this guy was paid by Iran.
That's what they was trying to say.
Crypto, because we all know crypto is only for criminals. Because good, honest people use only central banks and their money and their banking institutions to secure their assets, because that's a great way to secure your money. And so that's apparently the next step in the narrative. And then the CIA, of course, leaked over.
That's facts, yo. That's why they come up with that crypto. They just trying to backtrack all their mistakes. You feel me? So now you can't get inside the kid phone, but you know he got 3 crypto account. This is weird.
The weekend that Iran had been making personal threats and plans to assassinate.
Can you expand on that? Because I heard that, but I haven't had the time to research it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's frankly completely incredulous. There's lots of reasons to criticize the government of Iran. I'm not a big fan. Iran used to be a very free society before the Ayatollah took over, but Iran is not known for this. Iran is not known for assassinations of people around the world. That's not what they do. Is they support co-religionists who have a similar political viewpoint, and they often, you could call them terrorism in this case, in the case of Hamas, the case of Hezbollah, the case of ISIS, the case of some others. But even though in ISIS's case they were on the opposite side, so it always depended on the circumstances. But the idea that they would be obsessed with assassinating Donald Trump is kind of ridiculous. But what the CIA said, this was the story they leaked this weekend, that they had plausible evidence that there was a high risk to President Trump because the Iranian government had decided to assassinate him in response to him killing General Soleimani, and that they were wanting to do it in a high-profile public way. So they had that script ready to issue. And my guess was that they were going to let a little drama play out. But a couple of days after what they thought would be a successful assassination, probably the Monday or the Tuesday of this week, when the Republican delegates would be in mourning, but the meeting to decide who's going to be on the ticket, they would have put out, incredible evidence of the Iranian connection, likely using crypto to fund his crypto accounts. And
That's crazy, yo.
my guess is this kid didn't even have these accounts.
That's crazy, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world. That's insane, yo. And I'm down with my man. I don't think this kid had none of this account, yo. He ain't had none of these accounts. This was the plan all along. Like my man is saying, they was planning to come up with all these excuses after they thought Donald Trump was going to be dead. They was going to tell you, yeah, he got paid from Iran because Trump murdered their leader and that and all the types of baloney they was going to put out there in the air. Yo, it's crazy, my people. The deep state, they not playing around. Yo, so that was the plan all along, huh? Yo, I'm glad Trump made it, yo. For real, for real. God is good. I'm telling y'all, and I got so much more information for y'all, but this video is already long. You feel me? But hang on, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'ma stay banging these facts with y'all. Peace and love, and we up out of here.